Welcome to the Flea Flicker podcast. I'm your host, Cody, joined as I am always by my beautiful co-host, Jason. What's up, Jason?
What to do, nephew?
Another beautiful day. So today we've got the AFC North and the NFC North action-packed show today because we got started late. We both had some prior engagements we needed to take care of, so we couldn't get started on time. But we'll make up for it.
On your way to becoming a mermaid.
I am, yeah. The skin graft got my surgeon said it took well, so we're chilling, man. We're chilling.
All right.
But I do want to start off. Before we get into the AFC North and the NFC North, what are you most excited about for the NFL this season?
NFL season as a whole.
As a whole, yeah.
Probably gotta say the Jets. It's kind of a
Jets
cliched take this season.
Jets, Jets. It's on the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon,
Aaron Rodgers does with the Jets. I don't even care if he does good or if he does bad. I just want to watch the fire, good or bad.
Yeah, man. I completely agree. I think that's going to be a fun team to watch, good or bad. It's going to be a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, even watching Hard Knocks, you can tell that Aaron Rodgers really likes the camera. So,
I haven't started watching that. I got all this time. I might as well get into it. So, that's my homework for tomorrow.
Yeah. When you're watching it, see if you can tell if he's done any improv classes. Because he seems to have mastered the yes and improv.
Improv. Got it. All right. For me, I'm a Panthers fan. I'm going to do my best not to be an annoying Carolina homer. But I am excited to see Bryce Young. I'm terrified of the offensive line. I'm terrified to see what's going to happen. But
they have a good run block.
Offensive line. They do. But that pass blocking though, that is
that's how you get hurt. Everything off the run blocking. You got to do some play action. Get the run.
Yeah, I mean, he showed some poise in that pocket, though. He had a terrible pocket, but he showed some poise. He made some good throws, and some guys just weren't where they needed to be.
He couldn't even see the rush coming in. Can't see a pass.
I'm also just excited for the NFL as a whole. Actually, earlier this week, checked with my girlfriend to make sure that she remembered our agreement from the previous season, where if there's NFL football on that day, I get to watch it, and every other day I'll do whatever she wants. It worked out very well for us. I kind of want to start with the AFC North. It is, in my opinion, the more exciting of the divisions. I don't know how you feel about it.
AFC East is definitely the most exciting division.
AFC East, huh? Bengals and Ravens, their win totals are set at 10.5. Browns 9.5 and Steelers 8.5. There's not a lot of wiggle room between these teams in Vegas's eyes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. Steelers.
You think it's the best division in football this year?
It's got to be up there. I don't know if I'd say it's the best. I still think the AFC East is probably the best division in football, and the AFC West. The AFC as a whole is really tough this season.
It's AFC, a very deep AFC.
Yeah. Like, I feel bad for all the NFC teams that aren't the Eagles and 49ers.
Did you want to start with how your feelings on the Steelers?
Oh, the Steelers? Okay.
You want to start with the Bengals?
I was going alphabetically, but yeah, we can go Steelers first. Steelers, okay. I think they have potential to be really good this season as long as Matt Canada doesn't fuck it up for them. Their offensive coordinator.
I completely forgot that dude existed.
With a good reason. He's a terrible offensive
coordinator. You remember that video when they were walking to the locker room and he got hyped because they won, and the player was like, his damn show wasn't because of you.
Yeah. Like, they keep trying to make Mitch Trubisky work, and they just need to go with Kenny Pickett. I think he's far and away better 100%. Than Trubisky. And they just need to use the run, set up the pass, and just do Steeler things. And they should get to 10 wins, I think. So I'm going to go over 8.5 for them. But they're in a tough division.
I have to take the under the 8. I think they're gonna be right at that. I think that's a perfect number. I do want a disclaimer when we are talking about these over under totals. I have never and won't ever bet over under win totals because I think Vegas is usually pretty spot on and there's not really much value. I think the value from that perspective would be on division winners. I think they're going to finish 8-9, 9-8 team. This could be the season. I know what you were about to say. I think that Mike Tomlin could go under 500 this season. It is an extremely tough division, and they do not have an easy schedule.
Yeah, they don't. And I don't know. It's Mike Tomlin, though. I always got to think that he's going to pull it out of his ass somehow.
There's a couple Steelers fans I actually know personally who are calling for him to be gone. And I'm just like, how?
How?
You know how many teams would beg for a coach who's never been below 500?
Yeah, what?
And to me, those are just people from Pittsburgh that don't know football.
People from Pittsburgh who don't know football, who are tired of making it to the playoffs every year.
Yeah, come on now. They're not winning chips. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, try being a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, that's tough. That is very tough. I cannot wait to talk about the Cardinals.
So, you know.
That was so funny, man. Oh my god. I cannot wait to talk about the Cardinals. I think that's gonna be a fun division to talk about, but a terrible one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
But back to the Steelers. I am excited to watch the Pickett and Pickens connection. I think my favorite part is when the announcers go Pickett to Pickens, and how many times they actually get it wrong and they say it backwards because their names are so similar.
Throw them for a loop.
We might actually see that someday. We might actually see a trick play. But I think the division is too good, and there's too many question marks with Kenny Pickett. They need to commit to him. I think he threw. I don't know if you could look this up real quick for me, but last season he started. In the games he started, I think he threw 7 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, or it was 9 touchdowns and 13. It was something around there where he did throw a lot more interceptions than touchdowns last season. And I would just like to, this season, I'd like to see him make some adjustments, be a little bit more careful with the ball, and just be more patient because they have some offensive weapons.
7 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
7 and 9,
13 games.
Yeah. It's hard for me to back
63%
back a quarterback like that.
Though.
That is pretty good. He needs to be just a little bit more patient, a little bit more careful with the ball. But yeah, I think this is an 8-9, 9-8 type team. This division is just so hard. I don't know who they're going to take games off of.
Yeah.
You have any final thoughts on the Steelers?
For one. No, I mean, I think you're Browns.
You're trolling. I have a feeling we're gonna have a fun time when we get to the Browns. We'll save the Browns for last in this division.
Okay, all right, I'm down to do that. No, I think that sums up my thoughts on the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's a rock. I don't think they're going anything less than winning 8 games. So I think 8.5 is right on the money.
Yeah, like I said, 8-9, 9-8. You average that out.
Yeah,
9.5. Nope, 8.5. That's the number they got. 8.5.
They got.
I have a finance degree. We never did math. We used calculators in Excel. So we're leaving the Browns for last. So let's go ahead and move on to the Ravens.
Ravens. I think
Ravens. They're over under set at 10.5.
Ravens are tough because it all depends on Lamar Jackson's health. They added on Odell Beckham, but who knows how he's going to be coming off that knee surgery. And they dropped off. They let go of a bunch of older defensive players, and they got younger on the defensive side, but also more inexperienced. So Baltimore is tough. I think even if Lamar Jackson's healthy, I'm not seeing them improve a whole lot from last season.
Yeah, I get the perspective. I do. I just so I'm gonna start by saying I'm really happy Lamar got paid. I'm honestly like I was very sad when I saw that he got signed, re-signed by the Ravens. That they came to an agreement. Only because not because I have any dislike for the Ravens. I just like the drama.
Oh.
I mean, I would have lost my mind, but no, like anywhere, right? Like when Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, that's like league shaking news. Like everyone was like, "Oh, that's crazy," and I kind of was looking forward to that with Lamar. But I'm glad he finally got paid. He definitely deserves it. You know, winning that league MVP with nobody to help him. Well, not nobody, but he didn't have the offensive weapons we've seen other quarterbacks win that award with. I am excited to see that Lamar and OBJ connection, but we have to remember that this team, like every team has holes where they need to improve in the offseason, but I don't think that the Ravens had as many holes as a lot of people thought, aside from like the glaring like offensive weapons, right? Like he had Mark Andrews, who ends up hobbled and like is not completely healthy, like everyone in the NFL at that point in the season. But they were a fluke 99-yard fumble return for a touchdown in the playoffs from beating a Bengals team that was healthy at the time.
That's true. I forgot about that.
And this was with their third string quarterback.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, he's basically as good as Lamar Jackson, so like.
Was it the wait? Who was Tyler?
No,
was Huntley the quarter? Was it their second string?
Yeah, it was their second stringer.
I think their second string quarterback. Yeah, but they were that close to beating the Bengals with a second string quarterback with no weapons. Everyone was injured. That's no. We're not. That's getting edited out. We can't have that. Just for dumb statements.
Oh,
no,
there's gonna be so many people that agree with me on that statement.
Okay.
Oh,
and they're all Steelers fans. They all think the same Steelers people that think Mike Tomlin should retire. But I mean, like with a healthy Ravens team, we'll get to it at the end when we talk about the way we think the division's going to shake up. But I like this Ravens team. I think that they have an easier path to win the division than the Bengals do.
That's actually
for the reason just the health.
Plus 235.
What is it? Plus 230. Plus 235.
I might take that. Especially.
Okay. So we got that noted down.
The Bengals, or with Joe Burrow's situation. So
if you're good to move on to the Cincinnati Bengals,
let's do it.
All right. So Bengals, they're over under set at 10.5 wins. What do you like and what do you dislike? What do you love and what do you hate about the Cincinnati Bengals?
I love Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. They have an explosive, dynamic offense when they're all healthy. It's just that past couple of years, it's rare that you see all four of them healthy at the same time. Joe Burrow,
and they're still getting to that point in the season every year with those health issues.
Yeah, we're not sure when Joe Burrow is going to be back to start the season. If he misses, I'm going to chalk up, especially with their schedule. Any game that he's not playing, chalk up as a loss. So it sounds like he's not going to be ready for week 1. So that's already one loss. So 10.5 might be tough for them. They're in a really tough division. They got a really tough schedule.
So I was just going on the assumption that at a minimum he misses the first 2 games of the season, and then at the maximum he does what the general manager Jamar Chase wants him to do, and that's miss the first 5 games of the season. So
the first 5 or the first 4.
I don't remember if it was come back for week 5 or wait until after week 5. I'm gonna do some math in my head, so public math. But so week 1, is at Cleveland without Joe Burrow. That's an L. Week 2 is against the Ravens. That's an L. So they're already 0-2 in the division. That's if he only misses 2 games, right? I'm going to go on the assumption that it's a little bit more because they do want him healthy for the long run. So if he misses 2 games, they're 0-2 to start the season, right? I'm going to go on the assumption and operate this theoretical.
Oh, okay.
You're just trolling. So I'm going to go work on the assumption that he misses the 5 games. We'll say 4 games. Well, he misses the 4 games, right? So week 1 is an L at Cleveland. Week 2 is an L in Cincy against Baltimore. Week 3 is versus the Rams. And I think that
the Rams are
on the
potatoes.
Best case scenario, they win this game, and then they lose at Tennessee. So if we're looking, they have a chance to go 1-3 or
carry the 0 times 2.
0-4. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so best case scenario, if he misses 4 games to start the season, they're gonna finish 1-3 in that span. Week 5, first game back would be against Arizona in Arizona. W, right? But then they play Seattle, at San Francisco, and then the Bills. So that 3-game stretch between 6, 7, and 8, week 6, week 7, and week 8, those games are going to define the Bengals season. No matter what happens, they're through the first 4 or 5 weeks. Week 6, 7, and 8, that 3-week stretch is the most important stretch of the season for the Bengals.
So how
and they don't play the Chiefs in that stretch.
Prior to week 5?
1-3. They'd lose to Cleveland, lose to the Rams, or lose to the Ravens, beat the Rams, lose to the Titans.
Oh, right, Titans.
So that would be 1-3.
Yeah. So they gotta go 2-3 in that stretch then, and that's a tall order.
And then, and to note that Bills game will be a primetime game. I think it's a Sunday night football. I'm gonna pass it back to you since I interrupted your Bengals. What'd you say?
Bills is Sunday Night Football. Week 9.
Yeah.
They do have a bye in the middle of that stretch, though. They got Seattle bye at San Francisco at home again.
Oh, there's a bye. Okay, so it's week 6, week 8, and week 9.
Correct.
That's the stretch. Yep. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I interrupted your Bengals analysis. If you want to continue with your
analysis. I mean, Bengals should be okay. It's going to be tough without Joe Burrow through that first stretch. I think they can beat the Browns conceivably week 1. Just because the Browns are going to Brown, and their defense should be a little bit better than last year, but we'll see. But I think we covered the Bengals pretty well overall.
Yeah. I also agree. They did spend that money. They got Orlando from the Chiefs.
So they shored up their offensive line a little bit, so that should help. They still are lacking.
They finally spent money,
though. So
yeah,
if anybody on that starting 5 gets injured, they're going to have a tough go at it.
Yeah. Moving on to the Browns, the over/under is 9.5. Would you like to go first?
The Browns, listen, I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be able to pull it back. We'll see if he can, but I'm also going to be rooting for him not to be able to pull it back. So, I think the Browns are just going to Brown. I think they've lost the most games out of every team in the NFL over the past 20 or 30 years. By a pretty substantial margin.
Some dark years. The dark ages in Cleveland. They went through the dark ages again.
So Browns are going to Brown. They got Nick Chubb, and they got a good defense, and that's it. They got Amari Cooper too, but he's got a wet noodle throwing him the ball. It's not much use going on there. So they just got to feed it to Nick Chubb 30, 40, 50 times a game and just hope that they can get by with their defense.
It's happened
Who knows?
before.
I might be wrong about Deshaun Watson. He might be able to pull it back, but I doubt it. I'll pass the baton back to you.
Okay, so the first bet I made this season was the Cleveland Browns to win the division at plus 380. Cleveland Browns to win the conference. I don't remember the odds. And then Cleveland Browns to win the Super Bowl. I like. But no, I think the number 380 to me stuck out because I don't. If you look at the rosters, you take the teams away, the team logos away, the cities away, the fan bases away, and you just look at
all
the
these
rosters.
Factors.
You just put the rosters
factors
next to each other. The Browns shake out to be probably the most complete roster in this division. I don't think that the gap between the Bengals, the Ravens, because everyone can agree those are like the top dogs. The Bengals and the Ravens, and then the Browns, I don't think that gap is that big. We're yet to see how that like amazing paper roster works on the
movie,
field.
Shark Tale, Will Smith, and
Shark
like
Bait.
Shark Slayer.
Was that Shark Tale?
No, that's Finding Nemo. Shark Tale, where Jack Black.
I did see Shark Tale. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so there's this scene where the manager is telling Will Smith's character about the food chain, and he pulls down this giant chart, and he says, "Look, there's sharks, there's me, there's normal fish," and Will Smith's like, "Oh, that's me," and he's like, "No, I'll get to you." He's like, "There's normal fish, there's bait fish, there's whale shit, and then there's you." That's the Browns right there.
My bad.
Browns are below the whale shit.
Kind of put me to sleep there for a second. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Just like the Browns this season when they played.
So to me, the big question is, can Deshaun Watson knock off the mental cobwebs? Because we're not talking about a guy who missed a year and a half because of injury. So like the physical cobwebs aren't there. I think he was able to shake off kind of like his timing and like the other issues that come with not actually being on a field. I think he was able to knock some of those cobwebs off already. But it's the mental cobwebs. I hate rooting for him. I do not want this bet to win, and that's what I'm talking about when we go to the way the division's going to shake out. But it's impossible for me to ignore that this team has what could possibly be a top 5 roster on paper, at least a top 5 defense. Everything else on the offensive side, they're going to come and go with Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson can knock off those mental cobwebs, anyway, if he could just be serviceable, he'd not turn the ball over, give them 20 to 30 rushing yards a game, and just keep that offense on the field, keep drives going when it matters. Like you said, Nick Chubb, give it to him. Give it to him. Let him carry your team. Because at the end of the day, this team is not that much worse than the Bengals and the Ravens to be rated, giving us plus 380 as the number. So, I mean, that the big question mark for me is Deshaun, because this defense is going to show up.
Gigantic question mark.
And it is. I will admit that is a gigantic question mark, but I'm willing to lose a couple bucks on that question mark if he does. And you know what? If he does, then good. That's less likely that we'll have to see him for that much longer. But I mean, they like look at that defense. Like Myles Garrett finally has help. He has an edge rusher on the other side that has to get guarded. He was a 10-sack guy in Zadarius Smith last season, a 10-sack guy with the Vikings. Myles Garrett has never had that on the line with him. This defensive line is going to hurt. Who was a clown? He was a clown on the Browns. Oh my God! No, you're trolling. You're doing it again. You're trolling because I made a good point. And you're like, that defensive line is going to be nasty.
No. They're missing out on the best tackle that ever come out of South Carolina.
You have anything you want to add to the Browns? Your opinions? Because I know you're not gonna bet the Browns with me, and I don't blame you because it is an ugly bet.
Yeah,
it's an ugly bet
I
that
think they're finishing last in the division.
Last in the division, there's no shot.
It's a tough division. I think they're finishing last. I think they get 7 wins.
Because of my bet, I have the Browns, Ravens, Bengals, then Steelers. We take my bet out of it. Just with everything that's going on that we've talked about with this division, Ravens win the division. The Browns get into the playoffs with a wild card. The Bengals and then the Steelers miss the playoffs. This is the hardest year for the Bengals by far in this stretch.
Yeah, I think I have the order going Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
Who makes the playoffs?
Ravens, Bengals, and then Steelers
Ravens,
and Browns
Bengals.
both miss out. Outro.